an update, 22nd of August 2025. A lot of the alyssum in this side garden has died back. That's alright, it's not too big an issue. Some of it's still doing alright. And we've got a flower starting to come up there. Actually, I've just spotted. There's sticky weeds, so I'll just pull that out while I'm there. Obviously lots of other weeds I'm not going to fuss about, but that's alright. The not gardenia, gazania is flourishing there. But more importantly, my transplanted lupin that I thought I'd probably killed has put on a lot of new growth. So that's very hopeful, because I think a nice big flower spike in the corner there should be quite nice. Anyway, we'll go around the front now. So I actually just looked at the label because I've got still in, that's the Westringia. So I believe that's an Australian native. So I've got two of those. The idea is that you could propagate them and sort of spread out the things to make a bit of a hedge, but that's fine. We'll see how we go. Some flowers starting to pop up. They could be tulips, I'm not entirely sure. I did a bit of pruning recently, so I put that down as kind of like a chop and drop mulch before I get to sorting out this area. We'll see how we go. And the rest of these bits. Let's go over this way. Because, as I was saying about the tulips and things, or daffodils, I can't remember, but what you can also see here is the lilium. I believe that is starting to get ready to come up again, so that's good, because I think I transplanted some of those. They'd spread out over here. They're originally 2 or 3, I think, just like the cargo past, and they've been in here for about 3 years, I think. There's some more of the flowers starting to come up there. And yeah, so they've multiplied, so I sort of split them and put them in some other areas, so we'll see how they go. Another thing though, the bird bath garden, which I tidied up a bit recently, cut back, has actually got a number of the hyacinth, pretty sure that the hyacinth, have come up. And so there's now a nice smell to hear. The hyacinth I got because I went to my local big box store, as it were, and Bunnings was the one I got here. And I'd go through the garden section and I could always smell this lovely scent. And one time I asked one of the staff, so what's that? I said, it's probably the hyacinth. And sure enough, that's exactly what it is. They're very, very pungent, but it's a lovely scent to them. So I'm quite happy to have those popping up again. So there's more of that there. Needs a mow, but it's been wet, so I haven't done a lot of that recently. The lime, which I've given a bunch of compost to help it come along. Obviously it needs to be cut back, but that's all right. A recent acquisition, salvia, and in here we started to get some of the first signs of life. I think the I want to say not poppies. No, not daisies. My mind's gone blank, but that's all right. A number of those have sort of sprung up around here. I think these are actually ones that I think I grew from seed, or they could be ones that I bought. I think the purple ones are ones that I actually bought. Anyway, so we've got a number of flowers starting to come up here, and I believe that sort of one there is a snapdragon starting to come up, so that should be good. That I'm near certain is a snapdragon. And then there are other ones in here that are probably weeds, but I'm not entirely sure. But I figure I'll let them grow to a point where it's easy to see what they are, and then I can go from there. Obviously some bits of rubbish. We had rubbish day recently, and it's a little bit windy, so it's probably blown in. There's a new family on the corner. I suspect that's a baby white, but that's all right. This has gone quite wild quite recently, actually, so I'm not entirely sure what that is, but I think it might be, well, certainly that one there, I believe is the same as over here, and that's because I would have put some seeds in there. And we have, if I can carefully reach across to it, there we go, tulip, I think, yeah. I think, so I'll just get rid of the weed, but in amongst here, see some fresh growth coming up. So this could be another lilium, or it could be a dahlia. I'm not sure, because I have transplanted some dahlias about the place, but I think that's actually lilium, because there was one in here anyway. As the red one, Forza red, I think is what it was specifically called. That's a listen mix. That's all right. Put that back in there. That's actually died off a bit. I might have to change that. And again, a lot of weeds here I need to clear up, and the weather's been a bit up and down, so a bit all over the place. Some nice pinks in there. The dianthus here, I think it's also known as carnation. I've chopped that back in a lot of places. That's what the chop and drop on the front is, because I don't mind if it dies off. It's kind of a bit of an unruly flower plant. It's very reliable, it always has flowers, but I thought I can do a change over it. Excuse the noise in the background, that's the school. Obviously recess is finished. Hopefully it's not too audible. We'll get a copyright infringement thing. I might just pause actually while it happens. Okay. Recess time is finished, I think, so we're all good again. So this is where the dahlias from seed are. There's actually a tuber just there, one over there, so I'll see how they go. So obviously those haven't come up, so yeah, the plant further up was most likely the lilium. And we have some bulbs, I think, trying to start will come up here, so I'll give them a bit more room. That's possibly a weed. I might just take that out, even if it's not coming out now. There we go. And here, so snapdragons there, which are doing all right, and alyssum that's kind of a bit on the edge, but that's all right. Hollyhock, which has been there for now, I think this is its 3rd year. Some more snapdragons, and this is the patch where the lupin had come from. That's the original one, I think. I should probably actually cut back the dead growth, but you can see that the other growth is coming back in, so are the ones over there, so that's all good. We have a number of aquilegia around here. The Daphne, this specific one I think on the label is called Daphne odorata, and it does have a very lovely scent. I've been cutting off some of the flower buds and bringing them inside for that. Some more bulbs coming up. The cyclamen is doing alright there. Actually, I found a number of those have actually come up quite well recently. And my rose, that's, oh, hang on, there's a, do the whole, put the hand in front of the camera to get the focus to change. There we go. So that's basically the front garden. We'll go around the back. And here we have the lovely, I think, geranium, which is doing quite nicely, flowers and everything. We have the mystery allium, which is doing extremely well there. Have some lettuce. These are iceberg lettuce. They seem to be doing okay. A number of, I believe, leek. There is a chance there's some garlic in there, but I think leek. And they also span out here. There should actually be some garlic in amongst those as well, but I'm not sure. The one patch that I've got that is kind of organised now, I'll say that because the pak choy has kind of gone over, so I've taken a lot of those out. But those, again, I think are leek, though maybe garlic, but I'm fairly sure those are leek. Yes, it needs a lot of weeding, but what I have done is actually hook the rake and I actually cleared a bunch of this area here because I've put in here a number of kohlrabi seedlings. I'm fairly sure that these are also kohlrabi that I'd previously put in, so they're obviously sort of coming along all right there. And these would be the same sort of ones because these are the purple kohlrabi, so that should be nice. It's accidental succession sowing, as it were. These are some broad beans. We don't necessarily eat broad beans. There's a lot of fuss to sort of get them ready. So I actually put these in here with the notion that they could be a green manure crop. So I'll probably still harvest some of them, but we'll see how we go. I might keep some for next season. Should actually come over here because at least some of these, could actually be all of these ones that come out in amongst the weeds, are what we call silver beet here, but I believe chard is the name in the northern hemisphere. So this is the rainbow chard, because I was particularly interested in getting that just because I like the look of it. But yeah, so they're actually coming along all right. They've developed quite a bit, and that'll be because we've had a few warm days recently. There's still some of the smaller ones there, but we've had a few warm days and a bit of sun. It's another one of those sticky weeds. I mostly focus on getting rid of the sticky weeds. That's kind of my weed of choice to focus on. Then occasionally get the other ones as well, but certainly if I see those I get rid of them. So the warm weather and then a bit of rain and things, so we're starting to hint towards spring, which is nice. Now over here, I'm not sure how easy, yeah, there we go, there and there, I think it's cauliflower, and then you can see there's some more seeds of the broad beans in there. We've got our, probably carefully step around here, our kale, which by the looks of it is possibly starting to go to seed, but that's alright, not a problem. Sugar snap peas or snow peas, can't remember which one, but we have a few of those here. My youngest keeps picking them though, so I don't get to really see any of them come to fruition, but that's alright. Down there we have our rhubarb, and we have the gooseberry plant. I'm debating if I need to cut that back. I'm not sure. I'll have to actually look into it, because I'm not sure if it fruits more on old growth, new growth, or if it's kind of different again, but that's getting a little bit unruly. The bamboo, it's still there. It's not exactly growing taller, but that might just be a seasonal thing. It might be waiting for a bit more sun. And another peat, because I had some spare, I just basically chucked it in the ground. Oh, hang on. As I was saying before, my weed of focus at the moment, the old sticky weed. This has just been basically a spot where I've put a bunch of mulch. It'll probably get converted to something a bit more formal at some point, but I did put in some brassicas. I don't remember which ones they are though. Could be cauliflower, could be broccoli. That's another one hidden amongst the weeds there, but that seems to be doing all right. Second, again, I'm not too fussed about this area. It's not being officially used at the moment. Over to my little spot behind the bench. I put in some flowers here. So there's the snapdragon, the one survivor of the number of ones that I put in here. So that's still going. I can't remember what the other ones are. There could be zinnia, there could be dianthus possibly, there could be cosmos. We'll have to see. First of all, see if they survive, and then see how they go. Over to here. Again, a lot of weeding and things to do. But we have the jostaberry bush, shrub, what have you, looking quite healthy there. So I'm hopeful that I get some fruit off that this year, because I think I put it in at the end of last year. So see, here we go. I've got some daffodils. Yeah, I think those daffodils. Memory slip. More snapdragons here that look like they're sort of overwintering reasonably well. And I've got some weeds that are making themselves too obviously known there, so I'll just get rid of that one. I want to say that that's the Johnny Jump Up, which it may well be. We have, this is the blueberry bush. I don't know how well that's going to survive, but I don't think it's dead. So again, hopefully once the weather gets a bit more warm, we'll see that come to life a bit more. That's actually just from the apple tree when I did a cutting. I thought, look, I'll just stick it in the ground because I was pruning it anyway. And if it takes, it takes. If it doesn't, it doesn't. If it takes, I'll have to move it, because that's probably not the best place to have a tree, seeing as I took out 2 or 3 trees along here at one point. And there were some gooseberry cuttings that had actually grown. So I'll see if they continue or not. The compost heap, which I've taken some off to put into the gardens, it's not particularly matured, but I figured better than nothing. Hollyhock here, which has also been there for I think about 3 years or so. Well, I've transplanted, this is the fruit tree that was around the back. I've transplanted in winter, so hopefully that does survive. If not, it's not a huge issue, but it looks like could be alright. We'll see. Again, as I was saying, this is where I cut back a lot of the dianthus. The pond is, it's fine. It's not looking overly active at the moment, but it is still winter, so it's a bit cold. I'll be curious to see how it is when the weather warms up, because the fish might actually just be down at the bottom, sort of hiding. Actually, I think I might be able to see. Just there, I think, is actually the fish, which is good to see, because I actually thought they might have. Actually, I can see it. It's breathing there, that's okay, so that's good. Might need to have another look at that, but I think because it's been cold, I think they've kind of been sort of pseudo hibernating at the bottom. That's alright. We've got a bunch of nigella that have popped up. Another daffodil. We'll duck into the greenhouse. So this is my recent acquisition. I do have another unboxing video of some deliveries, and I have some more that I received recently. There are quite a few in there because there was a special from an online retailer of 50 cents to $1 per pack of seeds. Only a select number of the seeds, but there happened to be quite a few that I was interested in, so I grabbed those. Welcome to the bonus supplemental portion of the video. I just received today my garden order, I guess you'd say. So this is the first time I've actually ordered seed potatoes. Normally I just sort of let the ones that sort of self-seed in the veggie patch be our crop, which does quite well for us. They provide quite a generous crop at times, but this time mostly because I actually wanted to try some different ones. So here I've got, I guess, Binchy. I'm not entirely sure how it is, but this one I wanted because it claims it's the variety for commercial chips in much of Europe. So I thought that might be an interesting one to try. And we have upside down there, but it's pink for apple, just because I think that's a funny name for a potato. So we'll go with that one and have a bit of a look. I've got straw flour tom thumb mix, loofah, because one, I want to actually find out what they taste like. I'm not expecting it to be particularly nice, but also, of course, obviously I want to actually harvest it for a scrubbing tool, I guess you might say. So I've got that one. That's there. We have kohlrabi, which I have grown before, but and I think I actually have some in the veggie patch, but I thought I'll just make sure I definitely have some, and I think this is the purple variety, so this would be nice. Speaking of purple, excuse the noisy vehicle, we have cauliflower Sicily purple, because, you know, it's a bit of fun, and broccoli romanesco, in the same sort of notion of the last one being a bit of fun because of the colour. Focus on the, there we go. This one because of the shape, it's that one with the funny sort of spirals and things like that. Now, the other thing I got with this one is a live plant, which is a lavender. Now, I do have at least two different sorts of lavender already, but this particular one is lavender grosso, and it's the description of it said that it's the most aromatic of all the lavenders. Also, I like the flower spikes on this one. I don't know if it'll have. Oh, yep, there we go. Well, kind of. That doesn't really show up very well, but it just has a nice looking sort of flower head, so that should be a bit of fun. I'd have to think of where I want to plant that, but it's all unboxed now, so I'm going to get this all sorted, but I just thought I'd have, well, semi-unboxed. I didn't exactly unbox it on camera, but it's just my little plant haul. So there we go, back to the regular programming. This is the long-standing, actually, so the platycodon's kind of coming along now. The oriental poppies, I'd already planted those out. Actually, those might be some of the ones that are in the garden bed behind the bench. This one is where I recently took the kohlrabi out of to plant out. As you can see, I've got plenty of cornflower there that are waiting, just waiting for the weather to get a little bit more reliable before putting those out. Actually, that and or to clean up the area on the right side of the front, so I can have that the front garden bed, and put some flowers in there. The chili obviously is not warm enough for those yet. The delphinium there hasn't come up, but those are obviously ones that I planted more recently. I do, however, have one delphinium that seems to be doing all right there, so I'm looking forward to that, because I think that's my first one that I've managed to grow. So hopefully I can keep it going until we get to nice flowers. I'm going to say that's probably a snapdragon because I put the label in there to remind me of what it was, and these I'd say are the same just by the petals and things. Unfortunately, Audrey has passed on, I believe. Unfortunately, this actually picked up a bit of extra moisture when it rained, and I think that might be what's killed it off, unfortunately, but we shall see. This is a pot that I picked up for free, so I'm not entirely sure what bits and pieces are in there. There's obviously this plant over here. There's some seedlings that have popped up, and I can't remember if I put those in there. I know I did put in some kiwi fruit seeds, and I'm hoping that perhaps they are working. It's still going to just keep... Oh, there we go, that's better. So that might be a kiwi fruit seed there. Or it could just be some random thing. I really don't know, but we shall see. And in the rest of the greenhouse, strawberries, these are the ones that I picked up from the same place I picked up the pot. We have these ones, which are apparently called pink. That's not overly descriptive, but there you go. And these have actually been fruiting throughout winter. So I assume that's just because they're in the greenhouse, but that's quite nice. And then I've also got Bravo. So those are two ones that I got from Bunnings. And then obviously the free one there I got later. Pineapple plant is still going fine. I think that might be spinach. I'm not sure. I have some other miscellaneous plants in here that I should really be keeping better track of what's what, but oh well. And here we have the other pineapple, which is also still there. These have both been here for, I think, at least 2 years, if not 3 years now. So they're obviously not dying off, but they're also not producing a pineapple, which is a bit of a shame, but there you go. There's some lovely blue flowers there, and a little guest on top of there. That's all right. With some potato, I suspect, growing in there. I don't think these are any of the ones that I bought as seed potatoes. They're most likely just ones from the garden, but we'll see how they go. I do have 2 lots of my seed potatoes in the veggie patch. There's the Bincha, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but that's the one that's in the far back near where I've got the celery. And then before that, near where the green or the white grape is growing, I put some of the pink fir apples. So we'll see how they do. Anyway, we shall go and have a look at the, excuse the heater sound, because it is still a bit cool. More strawberries that I got with the pickup of the tubs, and I'm guessing that's a mint, but I'm not actually sure. I should actually do the old pinch and... Yeah, that's a mint. That's a spearmint, actually. It's quite nice. I could have done that earlier. That was another one of the free pots, so it's just got soil in there. I'd probably put a few things in there, but otherwise just letting it go. I think it's Cos lettuce, not entirely sure, but that's just doing its thing. I'll check this one, which I suspect is another one. Actually, that looks like the same sort of thing in the other pot, so I don't think I did plant those as seeds. They're probably just leftovers, but I'll do another. Yeah, I'd say that spearmint was quite nice. It's like those spearmint leaves that you can get, not surprisingly, because spearmint, but there you go. Now that I'm just going to pull out because I think that might be a weed. Because we get those little berry things. The birds obviously pick them up, chew them, and then excrete them, and they go everywhere. So anyway, some nice daisies, not daisies, daffodils. No, yes, daffodils there. The other ones in there should be garlic, I believe. I also had some in here, but they're looking a bit anemic. But then these are actually surrounded by partly the parsley here, I think this one is. Yeah, parsley. And also the silver beet had kind of, silver beet, spinach, one or the other, had kind of grown up and overwhelmed them. This is me getting ready to cut those to size so I can make some of the fence, the mini fence thing on the other side of the driveway. And we shall go around here. More of my excessive cutting back, which also revealed I had another cyclamen there, or cyclamen, which is lovely. Looks like I've got a bulb there, so that's good. So that's been cut well back. The camellia, I don't think it's survived, but if it has, that'd be nice, because then I don't have to buy another one. This is one that I bought because it's the tea plant, because I like the idea of possibly at some point trying to grow my own tea. And we've got the lovely orange flowering plant there. It could be ranunculus or zinnia, I think. Those are my two guesses. More daffodils. The hebe I cut back a bit just to sort of neaten up the edging there. And that is where my surviving dahlia from a tuber is. And I say is because who knows if it's going to survive, because I moved that one around, it ended up breaking a bit, and so I've planted out the broken off pieces into various locations. So I'm curious to see if that actually has survived in any of its portions. We shall see. We've got a sweet pea here, which hopefully can start. It has put on a little bit of growth and looks like it's actually starting to get close to growing possibly some of the actual flowers, which would be nice. And then I can save those seeds and propagate and grow more. I'll probably get another pack of sweet peas though, because I'd like to have them growing up the stump of the fern. That would be nice. I cut this back a bit as well, so it's looking a bit messy and unfortunate there. There's some of the branches that I cut off the hebe, just as a bit of chop and drop. It's my orange tree from seed. Hopefully it's going to start doing a bit better. I don't think there's actually a living salvia there anymore, so I might have to remove that. That's actually another lavender. That one's a pink one, I believe, if memory serves. I have a number of snapdragons here, and actually it looks like we're starting to get a flower head there, so that's good. The apple tree, so this is from seed. This one's from seed. This one had the fruit tree that's now by the bench. It was kind of growing just in front of it, so I took that out because, one, I wanted to move it to near the bench anyway, but also because I thought it might be taking nutrients from that apple tree, seeing as the difference in growth is fairly dramatic. This one is just naturally put on this sort of goblet shape to it, which of course lots of people like. I've trimmed it just ever so lightly to try and get away with the crossover branches and things like that, but I'd be curious to see if this one fruits this year. I can't remember how long I've had it there. I know they do take up to 7 years or so, but I'm very curious. I'm very happy with its growth though, very happy with its growth. It looks absolutely lovely. So either way, I have a nice tree. Now the devastation of here, I probably need to put more cardboard down. I was reminded by myself that this growth here is actually because I put grass seeds here, and I did that to try and stifle the growth of other weeds. But the grass seeds I've got, it's that very thick coarse, I think it's couch grass, and I don't particularly like it. I'd prefer sort of a finer grass, so I'll probably put cardboard down over there and try and start again. Up the far back, there's actually a very big stump from a yucca, which I had removed most of, but as yuccas tend to do, it keeps putting shoots out of the remaining trunk that's in the ground. So I'm going to have to keep working on that and slowly bring it out of the ground. I hate yuccas. They're nigh on indestructible, and they're just a nuisance. Unless you like them, in which case they're brilliant because they're hardy and you basically won't kill them off. But for me, I'd prefer something that is a bit more delicate and floral in appearance. So I am debating if I could put a banana in there though, because it's a bit sheltered from the wind, and that might be what I end up putting there. Otherwise something perhaps sort of nice, big, and, as I said, florally. Anyway, I've trimmed this pear, I assume, plum tree back as well. There's still a fair bit of crossing over stuff. I did get rid of a lot of the crossing over elements of it. And the longest standing, I believe, nectarine tree. Oh, hello, bird. It's a wattle bird, I think. So this is the first one I grew from seed here. It has never fruited. It has often suffered from leaf curl, but this year I did actually put the liquid copper fungicide on it, which I actually put on all the fruit trees, at least most of them. I'm pretty sure I put on all of them, but I'm hopeful that means I might actually get some decent growth and decent crops out of them this year, but we shall see. Doesn't matter too much. There's still some nice trees in the yard. Anyway, I've waffled on way more than I needed to, So I'll leave it there. Happy gardening. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.